So Bitcoin's just pinged 70K and there's not much volume in the market, but things are looking really good out there at the moment. It's Memorial Day. For those of you that don't know what's going on, the US markets are closed, so anything can really happen at the moment. So we've got a nice pumpage going on with Bitcoin. We might be looking at some Bitcoin related pumps as well. And then we've got ETH and the ETH ecosystem, and some of these ETH memes are absolutely ripping today once again. So we got so much to talk about. We're going to tee up this week. We're going to get you guys ready and sorted for hopefully what is going to be a massive move coming this week in the altcoin market. So we got a lot to talk about here today, guys. Let's get right into this. And these meme coins are just doing their thing. If you're not trading meme coins, you know, you don't have to like the meme coins, but if they're here to give you money, I think you need to start trading them. And I think we need to convince Ray that he needs to start getting involved in some of these memes. Are you trading meme coins yet, Ray? Missing out. Look at this. Bonks 11%, WIF 9%, FLOKI 22%. There's some news coming on FLOKI. PEPE's up, of course, and the market as a whole is looking nice and green. But can we trust the current move? So we just need to be a little bit cautious today with how we play things, because we are a little bit light on some of the volume, but the levels don't lie, the areas don't lie, and we're going to get stuck into a lot of them. So let's start with BTC and just see exactly what is going on. And this is just playing out to absolute perfection again. For those of you that love fibs and those of you that use fibs, well, look at this. Enjoy your moment here. We've had BTC absolutely take off from a 382 fib on a nice little retest here. So nice little move so far. And our big support that we're watching at the moment's got to be 68,200. This is now your big support marker for any huge pullbacks now in the next, in the next 24 hours while we wait for these markets to open again tomorrow. So 68,200, I'm watching that. We can't let go of the 618 fib, a little bit lower down. So call that 67,600, another big level for me. And then our dark and dangerous area, 66. Do we need to talk about that one today? Well, let's just call it 66. Put a marker on your charts. Hopefully, we're not going to go and test that one today. And then the scalpers out there, those of you that are already sitting in Bitcoin longs and you're wondering how to play this thing, I'm going to give you a little level that you can play with here at the moment if we get a short-term little pullback. So what you want to do is just highlight these horizontals here, and you can see what we've got. We've got some previous support, then we've got previous resistance, and now we've cracked the resistance. So this is going to give us a little support market too for all of you that are scalping at the moment. So 69,280 to 69,300. That could be a nice little level that you guys can play with as well. You can bring your stops up now to areas like that. And I'm currently trading Bitcoin on Prime XBT at the moment. This is my current trade situation. So I'm in a Bitcoin. I opened this one on Friday last week. So I've been chilling in this one for a while, and it seems to be ticking along nicely now. Then we've got AVAX that is cooking, finally doing something for me. And then I've got TON, which I'm going to tell you about. It was an easy algo setup that tied in with some of my TA, and it made sense. So we've given a long on Sniper Club on TON as well. And there's 2 or 3 setups coming for you guys that I've prepped for you that could be of interest to you. So stick around. If you want to try trade Bitcoin with me on Prime XBT, you know what to do. The link is in the description of the show. Jump in there and take advantage of their sign-up bonus that they are offering you guys. Okay, what is in the news? And I just felt this, I just had to bring this one up for you guys. DJ News says, breaking, Phantom becomes the #1 Google Play finance app in the US. Okay, finally, is retail coming? Are these things starting to go down for us? Are we going to get some pumpage? So there is signs at the moment that we might be getting an alt season, and I hate using that phrase. I absolutely hate that, but I'll give it to you guys. I mean, this alt season phrase just sticks around and people use it all the time. But is it time? Are we going to call this thing alt season? And we can see some retail coming in here. They're all grabbing their phantom wallets because they want to trade shit coins and all of these meme tokens. So that is a nice bullish sign there for the retail guys coming out. And then for those of you that weren't around yesterday or this weekend or in the last couple of weeks, you might have noticed a lot of Trump news at the moment, and he's super pro crypto. So I dealt with a lot of that yesterday on my show, for those of you that caught the Sunday show. But I just wanted to play this video for those of you that don't know what's going on, who have missed a little bit of action. I've got a slightly older video here for you on Trump, and I just want to play this for you guys just to give you an idea as to the type of games that Uncle Donald is playing at the moment, trying to win his current vote. So let's just look at the current situation. Hey, let me know if you can hear this one. This is Donald Trump. He was at Malcolm says, I asked Donald Trump how he's going to keep crypto businesses in America.
Yeah, with the goggles on.
A lot of the smartest people in crypto are moving their businesses out of the U.S. because they're scared of the U.S.'s regulations.
Because of the hostility.
Correct.
Yeah, crypto is moving out of the U.S. because of hostility toward crypto.
Correct. So what are you going to do to stop it?
Well, we'll stop it because I don't want that. I want that. If we're going to embrace it, we have to let them be here.
Yes, sir.
The man with the shades. Maybe it's the Mog man. Who knows? So Donald Trump has done a full-on U-turn here with crypto. Let me just bring my screen up here for you guys. And he's now turning super pro crypto. He's really changed the game for crypto guys out there, and he's trying to win over a lot of votes. So you can see his current stance at the moment. And I just found this so good. Donald Trump now holds $10 million worth of crypto. And what is his number one holding at the moment, Ray? What is his number one holding, bro?
Is it MAGA?
He owns Trump. His number one holding is $7.3 million worth of his own shitcoin. He's really embracing crypto culture to the max. We got to appreciate this, man. Imagine all the shit he owns. He owns $7 million worth of Trump coins, and he knows this thing is going to pump through the election. He's clearly a smart man because he designed this thing to start running while he's chasing his election glory, and now he's going to make money out of it as well. So good luck to old Donald. And for those of you that were watching, this was yesterday, and his meme coin has hit a $560 million market cap at the moment. So if those of you that jumped into this Trump long yesterday, you are still cooking. Yeah, anything above 10 for me is support. And as long as this election trail is going to continue, as long as he's going to keep saying all these things, and all this activity is going to be happening, there's going to be a vibe in these meme coins and these political meme coins. So obviously you want a piece of Bowden and all those types of things. But Trump, if he's going to win, these things are going to pump. And one of his other big holdings is Baby Trump. He literally owns Baby Trump. Look at this. Let's pull up his holdings here. Number one is Trump. Number two is ETH. Number three, MVP. Four is Conan. He should actually own Tucker, and that would make more sense if he owns a bit of Tucker. And number five here is Baby Trump. He's got $150,000 of Baby Trump. So there's Baby Trump. If you guys are interested, it's a $5 million market cap at the moment. So slightly smaller cap, maybe a little bit of upside there for you guys. That could be a little one to play with. And then the one we looked at yesterday, this thing moved. This thing absolutely ripped. This thing hit about $1 million market cap at one point yesterday, this DTI. So this was a long forgotten meme coin that came out a couple of years ago, and it was rugged by the community, and then the community came and saved the day. And this thing seems to be coming alive one more time. So this is DTI, and had a bit of pullback now. So things are looking okay on that. So there's some Trump meme coins if you guys are looking for a little bit of action there. And Wolf says, funnily enough, he says Bitcoin trends. He says retail interest is not found on any searches for Bitcoin, but we've got the Phantom app from Solana absolutely cooking at the moment. So things are looking very interesting from the retail front there, but pretty dead for search on Bitcoin. Maybe everybody's forgotten about this thing while it's just churning and churning higher and higher. So that is something interesting to watch. And then Crypto Rodo. You guys know Rodolfo. We talk about him a lot. He does a lot of research for us as well. And he's put in a great post here for us. He says, are you ready for the altcoin boom? And I figured this tweet tied in nicely to us and what I'm going to show you today with some of these signals here. But Bitcoin ETF, tick. ETH ETF, we've got NVIDIA and Apple eyeing AI crypto startups, tick. Bullish for crypto. Top VCs intensifying investments. The biggest institutional investors in the world are bullish on crypto. We know that. Locked in. BlackRock, Grayscale, we're loving that. Trump, Biden, other politicians supporting crypto. Regulators in the US supporting Bitcoin. It's all happening at the moment. And the conditions are teeing up here for some massive moves in crypto. We couldn't get better conditions now at the moment. We got the US coming back hard into crypto and over their political bun fight. So things are looking really good at the moment. And this Bitcoin is ripping now, 70,500. So things are looking good here on Bitcoin's front. And we'll keep that running. Long may that continue. Okay, what is the next situation here? Rec Capital, just a little note for you guys before we jump into some of these charts. He says historically, this is actually quite an important one. Bitcoin tends to consolidate around all-time highs on the green circle. I'm going to pull this chart up for you now. And he says, before entering the most parabolic phase of the cycle, okay, Bitcoin has been consolidating at these highs for quite some time now, especially by standards of history. While there's still scope for the additional consolidation, the time left in this phase is slowly running out. So he's basically saying the clock is ticking here, and we are looking for an explosion, I'd say, sooner rather than later. So this next push into all-time highs, we got to make sure when we ping the next resistance band that any pullbacks we have, that the US market is going to wake up tomorrow and come and pump the shit out of this and buy any pullbacks that we have. Because right now we're dealing with a low volume pump. So we're going to really need some support here tomorrow when we start pushing up into these highs. So here's Bitcoin on the daily. And again, just a reminder, things are looking good. We've got resistance coming up here. So let's say we push into this today, low volume day at the moment. If we ping into this thing and we reject, we want to make sure we get a nice bullish pullback here somewhere on these horizontals and trend, and then we really send this thing, and that should tie in quite nicely with Rec Capital and his chart that he is talking about over there. So something to look forward to on the Bitcoin front. Now, my tile today was about a chart that was losing a rising trend. And you guys who watch the show a lot know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't, well, it's dominance. And Matthew Hyland has also made an interesting tweet here on dominance. He's bent the rules a little bit, but he said dominance confirms weekly bearish divergence. Now, remember, bearish divergence is great for something like dominance. It's not great for something like Bitcoin. But if dominance is falling over, we know this is great for these altcoins and things like that. So he spotted a weekly bearish divergence at the moment. And basically what's happening here is the price is going higher. He has twisted a little bit because he didn't take that candle, the candle high, but he's basically saying the price is trending higher and the oscillator is trending lower, creating bearish divergence, indicating that we might get this thing sending down. And I tweeted this earlier today. Follow me on Twitter at the Lord of Entry. BTC dominance trend breakdown on the weekly. Is the altcoin pump on its way? And while we're talking about altcoin pumps, let's talk about like pumps, guys. If you're enjoying the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You know exactly what to do here. Ray is happy with me, and he's very proud of my performance there. So make sure you guys smash those likes. Do the thing that you need to do. Okay. And here's the dominance chart. Again, this is a massive one now for us. This is something we've been waiting for probably for a couple of months. We've been talking about losing this trend. And this thing has been grinding higher and higher and higher. And we're finally getting to this pivotal moment now where we've lost the trend. This is what we've been waiting for. Altcoin traders, this is what we've been looking for the last few months. This is the things we've been dreaming of since dominance started pumping in August and September 2022. That's how much pain we have felt along the way as altcoin traders. So here we go. We finally lost the trend. What do we need? We need to see this weekly candle close now under this resistance band. So that is number one. Right, the week has only just started, so we got a journey ahead of us. But the further this thing drops, the better the chances are of this thing closing underneath this rising trend, and that is going to escalate things for us, all the altcoin traders. And you've seen it in the meme coins already. These things are popping off everywhere. Don't forget things like Injective. Don't forget things like AVAX and Solana. They're all going to wake up again, and things are going to start flying, and your dead bags that you are feeling sorry about are going to start ripping for you guys. So make sure we get this weekly close under this rising trend, and then they're going to send us to Valhalla, I would hope. And then Blunt's had a very good point. Another Altseason type indicator for us is always ETH BTC that I talk about all the time with you. And he just had an interesting point about that recent pump. He says 11 weeks of red candles, and it's erased it in 8 days for ETH BTC. And looking at ETH BTC, this is telling us something too, isn't it? We've got a major set of trend pressure here for ETH versus BTC. We've got ETH strength taking on BTC. And all we need to see now, just to tie in with that nice little dominance loss of trend, is going to be a nice little ETH BTC pump, just to crack through this nice trend and horizontal region, maybe print a new high there for us, and then tee us up for those altcoins to really start sending them. Ryan says AVAX is next. I'm loving AVAX, guys. I always like a bit of AVAX. And we know we had a nice big AVAX unlock recently, and the price wasn't too badly affected. So things could be looking pretty decent there on the AVAX front. So ETH, just to confirm where we are, so we're looking for this trend break here. Things are looking super bullish for us. If we do reject here, we do have nice support. We've got the 200-day moving average a little bit lower down, so we can watch that 0.053 and a nice little area. Now, what do we have to be concerned about for ETH? Well, look at this. This is the ETH exchange liquidation map. And what do we have here on the 1 day? We can see a lot more longs are loaded up than shorts. Okay, so are we being silly by thinking that ETH isn't going to come back lower down? Are they really going to let ETH just pump without flushing out all these late longs and all these things? That is something we need to wrestle with while we're taking trades and while we are scalping off good areas. But just have this in the back of your mind that the best play going to be for a lot of these market makers is to come and flush a lot of these longs out before they giga-send anything. So just remember, we have $1.2 billion or $1.25 billion worth of longs teed up here that can get flushed out pretty quickly on a pullback down to 3,680 for ETH. So just remember, if you are trading ETH and you want to make sure you are out of the woods, you need to have an entry a little bit lower than that region, or a stop loss a little bit under that region in case they want to come and flush you guys out. Okay, let's get into who is here today. Where are my people? Let's see where everybody is here. Noor says, what's up, Dill? Let's see. Domingo gave us a glove. It's a pink glove, I think, what's going on there. Michael says, hey, Branta fan. Alex is loving when. And let's see what else. Jason says, either your mic is clipping or is there something happened with your signal chain? I don't know what that means. Ray, is there an issue with my sound? How are we looking here? Are we okay? We good. I'm getting the thumbs up from Ray. Paul says injective could be another one coming. Look, we've had a nice little move for some of these tokens. We've had a nice bounce on some of them. So, we don't want to get too excited on a low volume day, but it is nice to feel a little bit of bull sauce floating out here. SG says ENS. We spoke about that one yesterday, and I've got a couple of ETH plays here for you guys. I'm not sure if that one is on the list. Okay, let's look at the ETH situation. This is ETH on the 1 hour. So I've created another scalper zone for you guys. And yesterday we were discussing giving you guys some entries on strength. And often, the scalpers here and the leverage traders here, they need to dial in on these 1 hour setups and things like that. So I've created a few of these lower time frame setups for the scalpers, and I've got the bigger time frame traders covered here. I want everybody to get a little bit of the action involved here. So ETH on smaller time frames, lower time frames, what are you looking for now as a scalper or a trader on ETH? Ideally, you want to look at key support levels. So we've just broken a nice little resistance band. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to be raising this current fibbage here just to bring up some support guidelines here for us. So number one now, if you are trading ETH at the moment, you can see we've just broken a nice high, which is super bullish now for us. And, we love to break these highs and hold above these areas. So now we've popped this high. If we do get a little retest, we don't want to go much deeper than this region, just a little bit higher here. That would be the most bullish, okay, that we're looking for at the moment. So number one for me, ETH, 3,900. If we can hold 3,930, if we can hold 3,930 for me, that could be a nice little scalper bullish pullback zone for the traders out there, and especially the leverage trader guys. That is what we can look for. So you can see I've got a nice little 382 in that region as well. So that would be a nice little bullish pullback for us to look at. And then if we do have a little bit more weakness, okay, we have to pay attention to 3,900. This has got to be your next ETH region. That's got to be a support zone that you're going to play with, a potential scalp zone on any weakness. So remember, if these things start falling over, watch your key areas. Right now, we're looking for a bullish pullback on ETH 3940. You could stretch it to. And then lower down, 3,900, and then lower down we've got 3,849. Where can ETH go to from here? Let's just look at a bigger picture chart just to get us a guide as to what we could look at here if things start moving. So number one, I've got a nice little high for you that we completed at the beginning of March when things were super bullish back then. And remember the glory days, the good old days in March, in the March bull market. And that is 4,100. So that's going to be our first major target. That's going to be our first big rejection zone that you're going to look at for ETH on this current move up. And then if they reject us, you're going to look at some of these supports that I have now given you and play around that area. And then the big dog is where we need to be. And this is what we're tackling next, 4,900. We know it's coming. It's a matter of time. Don't wreck yourself trying to get there. And, if you want to start building an ETH position, remember the rules here. They might come back and flush everybody out at some point. Can your trade sustain a big move down on ETH? Can it handle a 10 or 15% flush out? Can it handle those moves? If you're trading high leverage and you can't survive a 10 or 15% ETH flush out, then you need to just adjust your strategy a little bit and maybe start TPing at nice key zones and things like that. You don't want to be in the midst of a massive bull run here and get yourself chopped up and spat out before the real move takes place. So I can't stress enough, guys, how careful you need to be now with leverage. Let's not fuck this opportunity up. This is our time to shine. If these alts are going to move, everyone is going to make money. You don't need to force things here. Keep it calm, and we're going to do this thing together. So just hang in there. And one more time, smash those likes if you're enjoying the content. Okay, so ETH, you've got your targets. You know what you need to look for. Now, before we jump into some of these other ETH plays, I wanted to bring Stacks back. Okay, let's bring Sexy back. For the time being, because Bitcoin is showing strength again. And let's not forget what Stacks can do when Bitcoin is showing some strength. Now, right now, we've got a pumping Bitcoin, and look what is happening to Stacks. So I've jumped into some more Stacks. I've got a Stacks margin position that I'm currently building, and I've now added to this thing. And what has happened here? Stacks is currently breaking the 200-day moving average, and it's breaking this downtrend. So things are looking nice and good here for me on Stacks at the moment. How can you trade this? Well, number one, you can see we've got a nice little trend break in play. And where would I exit? Let's say I'm wrong and the market's going to reverse and send us back to zero. How do I exit my trade? That's the first question you need to always ask yourself, is not how much money I'm going to make, how much money am I going to lose, assuming that I'm wrong with this current decision. So right now we've got a couple of things we can look at. So higher leverage traders, if you get a candle close under 2, okay, that would be your first potential exit zone that you could look with. So close under 2 is going to be a potential exit zone for the higher leverage traders. Then we've got margin traders that need to worry a little bit less. And your next potential exit zone, there's 2 areas for you. Number one, you can look at a close under, well, it's a little bit lower here. It's a close under this guy at 1.88. Okay, so close under 1.88 is a potential another exit zone for the margin traders or the potential spot traders as well. So that is the current game plan on Stacks, looking like a little trend breakout here on Bitcoin strength. Okay, so provided Bitcoin stays strong, we should start seeing Stacks moving a little bit. And then I did put a little bit of easy algo source on this one too. And I did note that yesterday, I mean, we discussed this stuff at length on my show if you were watching it, but you can see what's going on here with Stacks. We are currently breaking the tight weekly pivot. There's a nice weekly pivot here for Stacks. You can see the yellow lines over there, and we've now broken above this weekly pivot. So Stacks is looking a little bit bullish here. And just remember, quite simple, it's invalidated if we close under the 200-day MA or if we close under 1.88. That's telling us that Stacks is potentially going lower. So we can just jump out of that thing, let it do its thing, settle down, and then we'll reassess and look at our next levels. But right now, Bitcoin strength, I don't want to miss the train with Stacks. So I've jumped into that, and yeah, we'll keep it going. Let's see how this one is going to play out. So you've got a nice little setup there for you guys on Stacks. Now, let's get into some of these other ETH plays that are absolutely ripping. Now, Ray is going to be totally pissed with me because 2 of these are meme coins again. But Leo's talking about ETH layer 2 ecosystem is on fire. So I figured, well, ETH strength, obviously, let's look at something like Arbitrum number 1. So let's go with a starter pack of ETH strength tokens that we can play. So number 1 has to be Arbitrum, Optimism. One of those you need to pick. Which one is your favorite? I'm just going to pick Arbitrum for this one because it's looking quite good at the moment. So Arbitrum, I've got a nice little target here for you guys at 1.4. So this is big zone number 1 that I'm paying attention to over here. 1.4, nice little area to look at. So what do we need to do to get there? Well, we need to just confirm a little bit of support here at this horizontal. So you can see at the moment, Arbitrum is trying to break through a nice horizontal band. Look at this. It was support previously, resistance previously, and now we're starting to crack through a nice little horizontal. So let's watch support 1.22. If we can hold this 1.22 there or thereabouts, if we can hold somewhere in this region here on this pullback, you can see I've got a horizontal band here. Anywhere in this pullback to this region, I'm looking for a nice little bullish push here from Arbitrum to 1.4. So a nice quick little ride for us. And the reason I say it's a quick ride is I think we're going to get this candle taken out pretty quickly on any strength at on Arbitrum. So look out for that. If we can just hold this 1.22 down to 1.2 anywhere in that region, then I'd like to see this move up to 1.4 on Arbitrum. And wouldn't that be nice with an ETH pumping to those 4,100 levels? That could tie in beautifully there for us as well. I see JMO from the Sniper Club. He's in the chat. He's saying Audi 618 taking off from the 618. There's an emergency on Audi. So remember, guys, BTC strength. What do? You can look at Audis. You can look at Stacks. You can look at Mubi. Any BRC20 type or BTC ecosystem tokens. That is where you want to be looking on BTC strength. I see Vulcan says File is waking up now. I think, in fact, anything's going to wake up now. Even XRP could potentially wake up now. Throw some dust on file as well, mate. Steve says 𝗕𝗓𝗕𝗓 is ready. Guys, I'm going to bang through so fast here. I'm going to go through as many charts as possible for you. I've got it in the back of my mind here. Ray, remember, 𝗕𝗓𝗕𝗓. And what's the other one I need to look at, please? And just remind me there at the end. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, you know what to do. Smash the likes, hit the subscribe, keep it going, and I'll keep the charts coming for you. Okay, 𝗕𝗓𝗙, the big boss. I've got a scalper set up here for you for leverage traders. And it's quite an easy play here, because even if you a spot trader or you an investor in 𝗕𝗓𝗙, we are at all-time highs consistently and constantly. This thing is all-time high, all-time high, all-time high. So we're just going to scalp this thing in the rising trend until we lose this rising trend. So as long as 𝗕𝗓𝗙 is holding a rising trend, we can keep trading it. So you can see what's going on here. We're in this beautiful little trend here at the moment. As long as we're holding this rising trend, we can keep looking for longs on 𝗕𝗓𝗙. When do we turn bearish? Well, quite simply, if 𝗕𝗓𝗙 starts pushing up, it drifts back into trend, and we lose the trend, then yes, things are turning potentially bearish, and they're going to roll over. But right now, we're going to go where the bees are, and the bees are chasing 𝗕𝗓𝗙. The bees are chasing ETH-related tokens and these type of things, and this is something you need to be looking at. So 𝗕𝗓𝗙 traders, what do you need to watch now? Well, if you're trading the 1 hour, it gets a little bit spicy here, because jumping in now, you are at the top of this current move. Okay, so you are at a resistance band. So what are your options now? How do you play this guy? Well, number one, you're going to look at your horizontal above you, and just the same way we're going to play ETH is if we're going to blow this horizontal, then we can start looking to confirm some support. We want to get some bullish support here for 𝗕𝗓𝗙. So step number one, option number one, we want to pop here. We just want to break this high. We want to make sure we break that high, and then this little pullback here, we want to confirm some kind of support here at multiple zeros, 1699. Somewhere in that region for us could be a little bullish move here for 𝗕𝗓𝗙. So watch that. And if this thing starts rejecting, well, you need to pay attention to your big zone. And your big zone has to be multiple zeros here, 1630. So a scalper trade set up for you guys. What does that look like? Pullbacks to this region. Anywhere in this area down here, we're looking at trend and 382. And remember, the rule is, as long as we're holding this trend, we can remain bullish on 𝗕𝗓𝗙. When we start losing this trend, maybe we need to start laddering out. Maybe we need to start cutting some of our positions. So that is option one for you guys on 𝗕𝗓𝗙, the lower down move, the little rejection. And then the bulls, if this thing starts ripping, you know what to do now. You're going to break this resistance, let it settle, find some support, dial in 15 minutes, something like that. Look for some support in that region, and then you can start looking for longs there for 𝗕𝗓𝗙. So nice little clean setup for you guys, and an easy invalidation here if this starts losing that trend. Okay. Another one we don't talk about much is FLOKI, and there's a lot of news floating around with FLOKI at the moment as well. And you can see by the chart, this thing is absolutely rippy. So the FLOKI community are going to be loving the current situation here. And those of you will remember, we brought this on my show not too long ago. We were looking at it sometime, when was this? A couple of weeks back. We looked at this one popping the 382. And what did it do? It typically came back, retested trend, and absolutely sent. So here's FLOKI now on the 8 hour, and we are just trying to identify our new major support. So it's a very easy game now. If you're trading FLOKI, that's your previous support. This is your resistance now that you're watching, and this is now major support that we're going to play. So multiple zeros, 260. If you're trading FLOKI, this is your first bull zone. This is your first area where you are adding to your position. This is your first area where you are looking for potential plays here, potential bounce moves and things like that. This is also an area where if you are long FLOKI from lower down, maybe you want to raise your stop just to keep it underneath this major support zone. If you can keep it just under this level at around about, say, 253, 254, that should give you some room to play. And if they start dipping it lower, then, well, you're going to get stopped out in profit. So there's a strategy there for you guys. Watch this major level. We're looking for that bounce on the pullback. Remember, it's a bullish pullback there if we're going to hold that as support. And then we've got a nice rising trend, exactly like you've seen here on 𝗕𝗓𝗙. We're looking for a nice push higher up there, ride that trend. When the trend falls over, then we start exiting. We start looking at things a little bit differently. I see TNT is asking about Matic, and who was asking about ADA? Let's chart ADA. Who was talking about ADA there? Ray, I missed that now. It disappeared. There we go. Bogdan, he says ADA, love of my life. Okay, I've got another ETH banger for you. Who remembers this, Dusty? Ray, are you offended if I bring out this one? Ethereum Classic. And for those of you that are wondering, Ray is like traveling the world at the moment. This man's in different places all the time. Now he's in an airport with his new hair and his new hat. But he's still working hard in the chats for you guys there, so keep him happy. Ethereum Classic, another old Dusty. Is this worth talking about? And it probably is. There's a halving coming in 3 days. Okay, all sorts of stupid things happen when ETH is pumping and some ETH-related pumping, ETH-related tokens start pumping, and even things like XRP, RIP, even things like ADA might have its day in the sun. And we know some of the Asians love to pump this Ethereum Classic. And I thought this was a very interesting setup for you guys. So I've brought this one for you for the scalpers. What do I like about this? Well, number one, ETH Classic halving is coming in 3 days, so they might be pushing the price a little bit leading into this halving. Number two, oh, look at my thumbs up there. Number two, we've got this trend break and we've broken the easy algo daily pivot. Okay, so you can see the turquoise here is the easy algo daily pivot line that we are watching at the moment. And this thing has now climbed into the daily pivot. It's ripped through and we have now smashed that with the trend. So what I'm watching at the moment for Ethereum Classic, obviously I'm looking for a little bit higher. I'm looking for something along these lines, a little retest here, and then send this one higher. So bulls, if you're looking for a trade here, there is potentially an Ethereum Classic long. Okay, this is known to be a little bit of a ripper. And what you want to do, if you come back to retest here, you can put your stop in the middle of this daily pivot, just below the middle. So that could give you quite a small risk here, 0.8%, or you can move it to below the daily pivot at around 1.3%. So if we close, say, under 31.6, 31.7. If we close under 31.7, that could be an exit plan for you because that's telling us we're losing the daily pivot. And then upside, we're just going to attack these highs for now, and then we'll deal with that accordingly. So interesting times here for Ethereum Classic. Maybe something is going on there, and I am trading that currently on 𝗬𝗥. Okay, so you can join me on 𝗬𝗥 as well. There's a nice 20% sign-up bonus for you guys if you want to trade 𝗬𝗥 here with me. And there's my Ethereum Classic trade. So it started running at the moment. There's an ARC trade, which I'm going to share with you shortly. That was a Sniper Club trade. We gave out a signal earlier today. And here's ENS. This is a little bit of ETH strength on ENS. And then lower down, I've got a Lido that's putting me under a little bit of pressure there. It's already cut half of my position. So we're going to see how that Lido one is going to play out. Let's watch the show. But right now, these are my current trades in 𝗬𝗥. It's KYC friendly, and you can go into the link in the description. Pretty simple here. Look for 𝗬𝗥. It's one of the ones at the top. You'll find it here, 𝗬𝗥, and 20% sign-up bonus, KYC friendly. Take advantage of this offer on 𝗬𝗥, and you can trade these tokens with me. Okay, here's Lido. So this is the Lido I was talking about. I'm under a bit of pressure here on Lido at the moment. Here's a 4-hour setup for the Lido traders. Now, remember, this is nice ETH strength play. And what do I like about this? Well, number one, if ETH is going to start ripping here, let's say ETH really starts taking off, we know Lido is going to play catch up very quickly. And what I'm really interested here with Lido is the fact that we've got the 200-day moving average right here. It's flirting with this 200-day moving average. Now, we know, number one, the 200-day moving average is massive resistance, but we also know when we break it, it becomes massive support that we can play with. So I'm playing around in Lido at the moment with the anticipation that this ETH move might bring a pop for Lido through the 200-day moving average. And if we start blowing this 200-day MA, then we know we've got a nice support base that we can start working with and really starting to grow position. So we're going to look for something like that for Lido. What do I do now if Lido drifts and starts going a little bit lower? What is my plan? Well, the answer is quite simple here. It's pretty simple and clear invalidation here. So here's a little 618. You can see what happened here. I pulled this the fib from the low to the high. And what did Lido do? Lo and behold, it came and pinged the 618 to the absolute dollar. Okay, look at this thing. Absolutely pinged on the 618, little reaction zone. So I know this is support that I can use now. This is support that I can watch for Lido. If I start losing the support level and I start closing underneath, then I'm turning bearish on Lido. We got to let it do its thing, let it lose its trend. We'll deal with it at the next level, at the next bounce. We can always assess it then. But right now, for me, as long as something is in a rising trend, we can trade that until that trend is broken. And right now, you can see what's going on with Lido, looking for a potential bullish move here. And if you lose those levels, well, you're out. So number one, your key support that you're watching, 2.5. Okay, if we start losing 2.5 for Lido, that is where you're going to start jumping out of this potential position. And upside for us, well, it's simple. When we blow that 200-day moving average, we're going to open up some nice little targets here. And target number one has to be these highs over here, nice little horizontal. So target number one has to be 2.99 to 3. That's got to be a nice little range, top of range there for you guys to go and attack. I see that's love. Says Rune. Guys, everything is popping. We're trying to deal with everything here for you guys. Just keep hitting the like. The more you hit the like, the more I'll stay, and the more tokens I'm going to give you guys. So keep it firing here, and we'll just keep going. We'll keep going till my fingers fall off. So keep it coming here. I see Mark Tyler says morning from Australia. Let's see what else. Edward says Sui is still in the zone. Morning, Mark. Glad you guys are tuning in. It must be pretty early in the morning for you there. Let's see what else. Paul says it is time for injective. Now, remember, I'm going to pull injective here at the end for you guys. Right. Let's look at this ARC trade. Why did I take this ARC trade today? And this is a nice little lesson for you guys as well. And for those of you that don't know about 𝗟𝗟𝗙𝗚𝗚, well, I spoke to Seth about it last night on my show, if you watch the show. And you've seen a couple of setups in the past. We're using 𝗟𝗟𝗙𝗚𝗚 a lot. It gives me nice confluence on some of my trade setups and things like that. So if you want to play with 𝗟𝗟𝗙𝗚𝗚, there is a link in the description for you guys. You'll see. I'm going to explain to you now how this works and why these setups tie in so nicely. But give it a go. There's a free trial there for 3 days. You can sign up to 𝗟𝗟𝗙𝗚𝗚, or alternatively, you can join Sniper Club, because Seth is in the Sniper Club as well, dropping some signals, dropping some 𝗟𝗟𝗚𝗚𝗚 hints and tips for you guys. And I dropped both of these signals today that I'm about to show you using 𝗟𝗟𝗚𝗚𝗚 in the Sniper Club. So number one, what did we have? We had simple TA here playing the game for me. I saw ARC was pushing a trend. Okay, number two, it was holding the 50-day moving average. So things were looking relatively bullish here for ARC, and I had this nice 50-day moving average support. So, you know, classic trend break play here, and nothing too complicated as to why this looked interesting at first glance. Then at second glance, what did I do? I pulled out my 𝗟𝗟𝗚𝗚 things, okay? And you can see what's going on here. The first thing you look for on 𝗟𝗟𝗚𝗚𝗚 is a very tight weekly pivot. Okay, so I'm zooming in here because this weekly pivot is so tight right now. You can see it here. These are these 3 yellow lines that you see. So number one, you look for a tight weekly pivot. So tick. Well, I've got a super tight weekly pivot. When it starts breaking the weekly pivot, that's our trigger to actually enter a trade. So the minute it started sticking its head out of there, that was our sign to take a risk and take a long on this position. Then number two, you look for the daily pivot. The daily pivot is this turquoise, these 3 turquoise lines that you see over here as well, mixed with a weekly. So coincidentally, they were sandwiched together here. And that was also breaking the daily pivot. So there were 2 reasons for me why TON was potentially going to start pushing through this trend. And that's why we sent off that signal into the Sniper Club today. So Sniper Club members, we banged out 2 trades for you guys today. This is one of them, and this thing is firing well now. So if you are in this trade already, you can see you can raise your stops now. You can de-risk a little bit if you want to, because this is now a free trade. This thing is absolutely cooking at the moment. So we're going to look at that shortly. I see Money Print says, where is TB zone for TON? We're going to get there now. And one thing to note, so right now we have pumped, but we are at a potential resistance zone. So look out here at the moment. This is the top of the monthly pivot, so we could easily just come back down and test a couple of horizontals here. So number one, retest for me, anything down to about 83 for ARC wouldn't be anything to worry about. That would be pretty bullish there for me. So ARC, if you're in this trade, anything down to 0.83, you can watch as your potential support, number one. And then number two, you can look at the top of that daily pivot, 0.823. So both of these are nice little areas for you guys trading ARC. And if you like the 𝗟𝗟𝗚𝗚𝗚 situation, you see what it's about. And I'm going to show you this TON as well. Grab that link. There is a free offer there for you guys for 3 days. Kenny says, Dylan is the man. What's happening, bro? Okay, so here's TON, and here's some TP. So the question was, what is the TP for TON? And number one, when you're looking for a TP on a position, you always look at where your major horizontals are and where you might have some fib tie-in. So for me, the most obvious thing for me for TON was these horizontals here and this daily range high. that we can see printed from 𝗟𝗟𝗙𝗚𝗓. So that is 6.69 is TP1, and then 7.09 is TP2. And what did I like about TON? Why was I interested in this as a potential trade? Well, number one, my TA was, again, just playing regular TA here for me. We saw a nice little trend break on TON, and we were holding the 50-day moving average, which is bullish. If we're above the 50-day moving average, we can be nice and bullish on some of these tokens. So we are holding that. And TON also started reclaiming this very important 382 fib for me, which is a nice big fib pool. So we know that that can act as some added support for us as well. And then I flicked on 𝗟𝗟𝗙𝗚𝗓, and I zoomed in, and once again, we've got a super tight weekly pivot here. We've got a super tight daily pivot, almost identical to ARK. Now, if you look around at a list of 50 or 60 tokens, it's very rare that you're going to find more than, a handful that start looking like this. So it made sense to have a go at TON. So this trade is now underway as well. And if you are looking for a piece of TON, and you're looking for a little bit of action here, what you need to watch is the 382 and daily pivot and weekly pivot support. So that's got to be 6.35. So if you are trading this trade and you're in this trade, you can already raise your stops to just under 6.35 in that region. You're going to be de-risked now. That will be pretty simple now and pretty clean for you guys. So if the market's going to run, you are now risk-free. And if the market's going to pull back, well, then you're going to get stopped out at a small little loss there. So things are looking good at the moment for TON, and all systems go now until proven otherwise. Where is our TON trade is here in Prime XBT. So there it is at the moment. It's slowly creeping up at the moment, so not shooting the lights out just yet, but I see AVAX is moving well as well with this Bitcoin. So we'll keep that going. Then another one, Solana. So let's look at all the Sol bulls. And we did drift into our hot zone. So we didn't hit the 160 exactly that I was looking for. We actually pinged 161 there on Solana. And now this thing has absolutely been ripping. So those you remember, I've been dropping the Sol chart here probably for the last 7 or 8 days. Sniper Club, you know all about it. This chart has been in there daily, updated every day, giving you this juicy area, this zone that I was looking at for a bounce. And just like I've shown you on some of these scalper levels here, we're looking just for a move into a trend, and we're looking for a bounce, and this just played the part perfectly. We had a move, a nice little pullback into trend and horizontal, and a little bounce. So these are typically things we're looking for when we are trying to scalp and we are trying to trade these things. And then obviously Sol could be a bigger trade. This is the 12-hour chart that you are looking at the moment. So Sol is looking good. Big support for me still, anything from 158 down to 152. That's got to be your big support marker here. So if you are sitting in a position, nothing to panic about, nothing to do until you start losing that 153 level, 154, somewhere around there, then maybe Solana is going to be turning over and things are going to get bearish. But until we start losing that area, we can remain bullish on Sol as long as we are holding nice horizontals and we are holding that trend. And then the bulls out there, if you are looking for further scalps, you can see what's going on here. We do have a trend break on the 4-hour, and we do have a trend break here on the 1-hour on Solana. So the question you need to ask yourself now, if you're looking for a potential move here, is we have a low volume day, US markets are closed, can you trust this pump? If you believe you can trust this pump, then here's a potential another trend breakout for you on Solana. If you don't believe you can trust this pump and be cautious, which I would suggest, rather just be cautious, then maybe tone down and don't ape into 500 positions. Just pick 1 or 2 bangers for yourself and see how they're going to play out. So, so far, we've got a nice little push for Sol. What are we going to look for if this does pull back? Number one, you're going to look for your bullish pullback zones. Now, remember, I'm making an assumption here that that was the high and it's going to reject right here, because otherwise I got nowhere to pull my fib. So number one, you're going to look for some kind of bullish pullback once it rejects, because at some point this thing is going to reject and turn back. And then you want to look for some bullish zones where you can get some support or maybe add to positions or things like that. And so number one for me, 167.7. I like that region over there. And then number two, I've got a very tight region here. If you guys are degen scalpers, like proper, if you've got a problem, if you have a degen issue, 170.3 could maybe work for a little bit of the degenerates out there. Could be a little bit of support for you. Why is that interesting? Well, it's the 1 hour. You can see we've got horizontals here, resistance. So, you know, at a push here, we get a little scalp off that region. I would say right now, this is mainly the main juice zone that I like, 167.7. Watch that area closely. That for me is a nice little scalper play for you guys. So eyes on that one. And yeah, let's see how this plays out. Okay, AVAX is looking good. And Ballas Bar Trader says, trusting this pump is like trusting Trump. Guys, the guy's pumping crypto. What more do you want? What more do you want from the man? He's pumping your bags. Love it or hate it, your portfolio is going up and your trades are going up. Okay, what do I like about AVAX? So remember, we had an AVAX unlock. I think it was $300 million about 7 or 8 days ago. And it actually handled this price pretty nicely. It wasn't too offended by that unlock. And now AVAX is moving with the market. So this is a good start for us. And this is what I put into Sniper Club earlier today. I was saying, this is what I'm looking for. I want to see AVAX break the 200-day MA. I want to see it break the 382 fib and then just confirm support. I wanted to pull back and just tell us, hang on, we've got support here and we want to start moving. So phase one is now complete for this AVAX move. We have broken back through the 200-day MA and this is now my support marker. So 37.5 for me has got to be my support marker now for AVAX. If you are trading AVAX, 37.5, you close under 37.5, then yes, things are potentially turning a little bit more bearish. As long as you're holding 37.5, there's no reason why we can't potentially start moving a little bit higher. So what I would suggest here, you can see we've got this old rising trend. And what I would suggest here is look out at some resistance and rejection zones. And what do they look like? They look like trend and horizontals. Okay, so we do have a region a little bit higher here for you on AVAX that you can pay attention to, and that is 39.9 or call it 40. So look out for a little fake out there and a little rejection. That could obviously play out. So if you're trading AVAX, exercise caution. 40 is your next resistance band. Then it's 41.7. Those are your next potential zones, okay? AVAX locked and loaded. Let's go injective quickly. Let's see what the injective gods have for us here. Now, this was a little bit frustrating. I was saying in Sniper Club earlier today, it's front run the 618 fib. So I was waiting for this push down into the 618. So my target here for injective was 24. Okay, and they came here and they ripped us up a little bit early. Now, is that a sign saying we're actually going to come back and test the 618? I hate an untested 618 fib. It always makes me a little bit nervous. So I like these 618s to be looked at properly. They must be kissed and caressed before we send it off to the next level. So the 618 for me, 24 for injective is still something that I might want to see touched here. The Nubis project says, Celestia, can you deal, bro? I don't know. Are we ever going to trade Celestia again? I don't know. That thing really hurt. Okay, so injective, what are we looking at here? Let's see what we've got. We might have a little trend break as well. We can dial in shortly, and you can see we've got a little break here. Let's look at this on the 4-hour. Okay, so far so good. So we are into a nice horizontal resistance area. So just pay attention here. Just exercise a little bit of caution here. So what is playing in our favor? Number one, we've got the 50-day moving average that we are trying to pop at the moment. Okay, so let's clear that. Number two, we got a previous high that we need to break. Okay, so right now we haven't cleared that high. So what do I want to see? I want to see a clean break here. I want to print a new high. Then we can come back and do a little bullish retest somewhere on a 382 here or some kind of horizontal. So I would say we're looking for something along these lines. Yeah, let's get a clean break first. And then you want to look for a retest after that break down to about anything down to about 25.8. Looks like a nice little area. So just make sure you get that little retest first before you get too excited about this thing, because we want to print a new high. Right now, we haven't printed a new high. It's just rejecting at the moment. So just watch that one cautiously and, just play that one safe. Injective will have its time in the sun. I just don't know if it's just ready yet, let's see. The other one was Sui and Say. Okay, let's go quickly. Guys, remember, while I'm pulling out these charts, number one, if you like the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, smash the like button. Number two, don't forget, you've got 3 days left to farm Gummy. Okay, it's a very simple game here. You are not going to you're not going to get your tokens if you don't have this Bybit link here, and you're not going to participate in the airdrop. So we've got a 15 million Gummy airdrop coming. 3 days, 15 hours, 35 minutes, and 36 seconds left. Okay, all you need to do is go into the description of the show and open up a Bybit account using the gummy instructions here. And it's pretty simple. Sign in, deposit 100, trade $500, you get $100 as well, and then you participate in the gummy airdrop. So very simple game plan for you. Look at the top here, Bybit, get 100, exclusive Banter Fan bonus when you deposit 100 and trade 500. All you need to do is use that link in the description. Calvin says Celestia is blacklisted for the time being. I actually agree. It should be blacklisted. Okay, look at 𝗟𝗓𝗙. Wow, this thing's looking good. Nice little move, and no surprises for anybody here if you like fibs. Okay, look at this. We've got a 618 bounce. Look at that absolute banger on 𝗟𝗓 618 coming to the party again. Tell me you guys are using these fibs on your tokens. It's looking fantastic. And let's take a look at if we can get some trends in play here and just see a bigger picture as to what is going on. So let's pull out the daily and let's dial out a little bit here. Let's see if we can find some trends and things like that. Okay, so what I do like here about 𝗟𝗓 is that it's putting pressure on this 50-day moving average. So that's looking good for me at the moment. Then we do have a little bit of a trend break here as well that we can play with. So this is what I would suggest here. 𝗟𝗓 is breaking the 50-day MA, so that looks good. Let's pull some easy algo things here too. Okay, banger. Okay, so easy algo. You've also got a very tight daily and weekly pivot. You can see we've broken above that. Okay, so that's a good start. So this tells us where support is and what we can watch as support. So number one, before I zoom back out, number one, traders, support zone number one, 0.5468. Support zone number two has to be 0.5345. So watch those areas there for 𝗟𝗓. Those are your big support zones. Those are the big zones that you're going to be watching. And you're most likely going to find there's fibs tied in with that as well. Let me just take these easy algo things away. Okay, number two, what do I want to see here? Well, this looks pretty simple, that we're going to get some kind of rejection at this 200-day MA. Look out for that high. But let's see. If we pop the zone here, expect a rejection on this 200-day MA, expect a little pullback. So once you've figured out that high, you're going to look for that pullback zone. If you've got this 50-day MA tied in with some fibs and things like that, you can be super bullish and you can buy with confidence there, a type of pullback that you get. So watch the pullback on 𝗟𝗓 down to the 50-day moving average. Okay, that would be your first bullish area of interest. That is your zone that you're going to be watching. And then you've got your backup supports, like I've told you here, 5468, 5345. So what does that look like? Let's just put this one together for you. If we do get a little pullback now, okay, you're looking for anything pulling back down to this 50-day MA, something along these lines, looking for that move there, bang. And that should give you something to work with on 𝗟𝗓. And then upside targets, number one, 64. Number two, 684. Watch those two zones and don't get too greedy. If the market's ripping here, remember, it's going to open tomorrow. People are going to take profits. They're going to do these types of things. And just be aware of what's going on. This is a low volume pumpage. Once again, I'm reminding you guys. And these things can turn over and turn on us quite quickly as they went up. You need to watch. Okay. That's it from me, guys. I'm pretty much covered there with everything. Ray, thanks for hanging out with us from the airport. Ray's in charge of the chats at the airport. Guys, you've got levels, you've got trades. Be safe. Don't overtrade. Don't over leverage, please. Watch out tomorrow. New day. New US markets are open. Be safe out there. And I'm back tomorrow. We'll reassess. We're either going to pick up the pieces or we're going to be celebrating massive moves. So good luck. See you guys tomorrow.